Oh, bear. Lovely weather we're having. It's not at all lovely. Hey, did y'all mean to leave that running?
Yes, we're about to pull off.
Oh, okay. It's not at all lovely. I won't. I mean, it definitely could be worse weather. The thing about South Carolina is it just soaks in. Like when you go outside, it's just so damp. The air is so damp just all the time. In the summer, it's like 100% humidity. And when it's cold, it's the kind of cold that just seeps into you. And right now it's like 100% humidity out here. It's just damp. I'm out here with Will. Say hello, Will.
Hello.
And he's brought something interesting. You want to tell us about it? I'll just let you explain it instead
There's
of
some chestnuts that have been cold stratified, basically that I harvested from my neighbor's tree.
Awesome.
Last year.
So you've got them in this bucket, holes poked in top, and that's
the
all.
Bottom.
And in the bottom.
And the bottom, so the water can drain through.
And you just sit them out like in the open?
No, on the north end of your house, somewhere where it's cold, where it doesn't get sun or anything. And and these probably dropped like September, I think is when it was.
Okay.
So whenever they drop, you immediately put them in the bucket. Let's see how high up it is. It's got about that much mulch in it, and then a layer of sand, and then chestnuts, and then another layer of sand, and then more mulch on top of that. But I'll also put a clove of garlic on the top as well. It's supposed to keep the rats from getting in there.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Or the mice. But I mean, they can't really get through this anyway. So.
Right. It probably deters other pests also.
Something else, I can't remember. It's been a long time since I watched the other video about this. So. Yep, there they are right there. See the little shoots?
Oh, cool.
Hopefully I'm not breaking them. See the sand layer right there?
Wow, they are. They're sprouting.
So
how many buckets like this did you do?
Just this one.
Just one.
It's got like 40 chestnuts in it though.
Oh, wow.
But some of them end up rotting.
Right.
I've never actually done chestnuts. I've only ever done black walnuts. So, see that one? Those are rotten, I think. Actually, I don't know.
No, that might just not be sprouted yet. It probably
They
still
might be okay.
Might be worth just putting in a pot.
Doesn't feel rotten. Maybe pop it open and see if it's still good. Doesn't feel like it's dried out either. But yeah, there they are.
That's so cool.
I don't really know how to go about getting them out.
I mean, carefully, I assume.
Yeah.
They're probably pretty forgiving. Oh, look.
Chestnut.
Look at that. That's really cool.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Chestnut.
So this is really cool. Now the next step is potting these up. This is what you're planning on putting them in?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they got long roots, and I probably want to bury these all the way, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Since they haven't sprouted out yet.
I would assume that you could bury them all the way so that they could come up a little bit further.
Isn't that awesome?
That's so awesome.
It wasn't like that when I did I mean, it's like a potted plant almost.
Yeah, that's a lot of roots. I know the roots were trying to go up too. That's really interesting, and it is true. Like if you read about chestnut trees in the United States, about how they used to be very, very prevalent, and now they're not. But they're pretty valuable trees for permaculture purposes. So this is your first time doing this
with chestnuts.
With chestnuts, you did it with black walnuts. Correct. And where did you watch the video?
Edible Acres. Edible Acres.
All right, well, I'll link that. That's really cool. Now we have all these baby trees.
Yep, and he'll explain the sand and the mulch and the garlic. It's been a while since I watched the video.
Yeah. Barry's over here getting a little zealous. Oh, it's exciting to see your stuff produce, but we pull these babies off of these baby plants because they need to focus on having roots, not forming fruit. It's a hard thing as a gardener to see your little plants in your greenhouse fruiting and flowering or little things like this because you get excited, but you need to pull those off because it's pretty important for plants. That plants are going to put their energy somewhere. If they're developing fruit, you might get some early fruit, but it could lead to less fruit in the long run. It's best to pluck those off, especially before things are in the ample planted space. So these are the raspberries and blackberries. All these are actually raspberry, blackberries over here that we got from Stark Bros that are just potted up for the time being. And then all of these fruit trees, these look amazing. They're starting to really come to life since being up potted. And by putting them in these pots, it gives us more time to get our places for them ready and gives them ample nutrition. So this is interesting. This one's like all sprouting from the bottom. What is this?
Grafted?
This fig, Beer's black fig. It's like a ton of little sprouts coming up from the root. I don't know if it's grafted. I don't think so.
I don't think figs are usually grafted.
No, I don't think figs are usually grafted. You see that? I
don't know.
I just want to see what happens there.
Chestnuts, this will end up producing.
Yeah.
Just turns into one tree.
Isn't that nuts? How much food
It is nuts.
in time?
It is nuts.
Funny. You're so funny.
It is nuts.
That was completely unintentional, which makes it so much better. Will just said that. He was like, this is a winter's worth of food security in one bucket. I mean, this is so many chestnut trees. Like, far more than what one person would need. And that's able to be produced in one cold stratifying bucket. That's so cool.
These are Chinese chestnuts.
Those are
as
Chinese
well. I don't know if we said that.
And you said those are more resilient to the disease.
Yeah, I think they have some people have been breeding American chestnuts, and there's like 99% American chestnut, and there's like 1% Chinese, but these are 100% China. It's my neighbor's tree.
Yeah.
Which is an old Chinese chestnut tree.
So this is one that didn't sprout. It doesn't feel rotten at all.
Got taproot on that thing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So Will opened this bucket. He actually is about to go run an errand and pick up some citrus. And so we're doing this. It's not a sunny day, so there's really not that much of a concern. But that way they don't dry out before, because he's got to drive an hour. There's a place, where is it? In Gaston, called Simply Citrus, that was suggested to us by several of you guys, that specializes in citrus for this particular area of like the Midlands of South Carolina. And so it's by appointment only. And Will called and got an appointment. It's today. I actually have another appointment that I have to be at. So he's going on a Roots and Refuge run. And he's going to go pick up citrus for the farm. And I'll show you guys what we got whenever he gets back. All right. These look so good. All right, Will just got back and he picked up our citrus plants, and these look amazing. Now, before I turn this camera around, I do want to point something out, because earlier I was picking the raspberries off of those plants, saying that if something is like potted, what I meant by potted, like there's some fruit on some of these plants and it's okay, because these are in very large pots that sustain them. So like very immature small plants that are still in their pots that are going to be put out of the ground, you can pull the fruit off of those. But a large potted plant, or obviously if you're growing in a container and something has sufficient space to sufficiently root and support itself, then it's okay for it to set fruit. It's the difference between really maturity and immaturity that I'm saying pull things off. But like these kumquats here have fruit on them. How cool is this?
Taste one. They're delicious. Eat the whole thing.
This is a kumquat from my own kumquat tree. I love kumquats. That is so good.
I had never had one.
Really? Mm-mm. I love them. My friend Macy lives in Mobile, Alabama, and she and her husband Elijah, they have this huge kumquat tree right out the door. And that's the only other time I've had like a fresh kumquat like that. I've bought them at stores before, but they're never as sweet. The store-bought ones are always really tart, but that tasted just like theirs. Oh, I'm so excited. So yeah, we got a kumquat, an orange.
The Valencia?
Valencia, yeah. So they have a Facebook page, and they had a picture of a lady that lived in South Carolina that had a big, I mean, the trees don't get huge. Her tree was probably like 10 feet tall, but it was covered in oranges.
The Valencia one?
Valencia, yeah.
That's what this one is. I
actually have a couple other citrus plants coming. There's another guy that does citrus that some viewers were telling me about. He's like 2.5 hours away from here. A Tangelo.
This is a Harvey. This is the one that's hardy outside.
That's the lemon that's hardy?
Harvey lemon, yeah. He said it's hardy down to the 20s, and it needs protection if it gets below
Okay.
20. If it gets into the teens, it needs protection.
Here is another lemon,
That's the Eureka.
Eureka lemon. And then these are the limes.
Yes.
Oh, look at this! This is my lime.
You can eat these just like that, but it's tart. It's really tart. What is that
That's
one?
so cool.
How do you say that?
Calamondin.
Calamondin?
Calamondin. And then this is Persian lime,
Persian lime, that's the red one.
red lime.
Look at all the little limes on there.
That is so cool. Look at
Full of 'em.
it.
I didn't like these as much, but that looks like a good one.
So this is the calamondin that you eat the skin of. Okay, so this one is something this is it, and you eat the skin on them too.
It's good.
This would be really good for making something.
Like a salad. Put a little bit.
The beginning of citrus. When I figured out, when we first looked into moving here, I had searched what the zone was. But I looked, because there's like a couple years ago, there was a house I had looked at kind of more north than here. When I searched it, it said zone 7B. Well, then we bought this property. And when I searched it, like as we were moving, it said 8. And so I had thought the whole time we were moving from 7B to 7B. And when I realized that this was in fact zone 8, and I realized that there were citrus varieties that I could grow here, it was like someone gave me a Christmas present. I have always wanted to be able to grow citrus, but it got too cold in Arkansas, so I'm very excited. These little orange things that are so tart, I mean, they've got little segments in it. It's just like a little orange, and they're like super lemony. I feel like this thing would be good, like flavoring something. Like you could make like really good like drinks, or
No, it's not great by itself.
maybe like sorbets with this in it. I think that would be really good. Something tart, but with sweet to cut the tartness. I'm gonna take some of these over to Drew and Katie. They're over there fishing.
Matisse.
Good job, Will.
Yep.
Good picking. I sent Will to go to that appointment and to pick the fruit. And he's like, what do you want me to get? I was like, just some good stuff. And he was like, can I get a list? So I sent him a list. And I said, and anything extra that they felt like we really would like. So I'm very pleased with those selections. He also, there were lime trees, but he opted for lime bushes because we are setting, probably not all, but some of this up in the high tunnel. All of those things came potted, and they told Will that they don't need to be up potted this year. They're already up potted for this year, and you can continue potting them up every year and a half or so. And so that's probably how I'll keep those. I'll probably keep those potted for the time being in the high tunnel, because basically that will keep them from getting really big, and also it'll make it where I can still move them in and out, so that if it is cooler, I can keep them protected. Y'all, the grass has begun growing again, and that makes me so happy. Hey pig. Hey big pig. Drew finally caught something out of my pond.
Yeah. Thorn bush. I didn't know you
We
had
can't do a fishing for tattoos episode if all we're catching is sticks. Can you imagine me having a tattoo with just a stick?
That'd be awesome. I want a tattoo of just a stick.
Well, if this is the episode that you're fishing for tattoos, you got it.
In pool halls, whenever you play pool really well and there's like a 70-year-old man in there, he'll be like, kid's got a stick on him. And that's like a really common saying. And then out west, if you're in like Salt Lake City is the place I've heard it the most, but Utah, if you're really good at fishing, people will say, oh, that guy's got a stick, or oh, he's a stick. And so like I've always thought a tattoo of a stick would be super cool because it would just be the dumbest looking thing.
Unless you knew.
Unless you knew, and then it would mean two things. You're either good at pool or you're a skilled angler, which I am not proving to be a skilled angler here. I'm learning though, because I don't know much about any kind of fishing other than fly fishing.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how unqualified I am.
Well, you should maybe let Murphy at him. Look, she's like, let me at him.
She's already been in there.
Let me at him.
Oh, again.
Another
stickless cage.
stick.
Yep.
Hey guys, editing Jess here, and I just realized I did not conclude this video. I'm excited to share with you Drew's findings in our pond because more has happened since then, but that's going to be on a later vlog. We're actually getting ready to go do some fishing right now, but I wanted to wrap this up so I could put it up for you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me a couple of days ago, whenever this was, and today, and every time you do. I bless you. Until next time.